Brought to you by ExpressCare Health and Skin Center. Get in, get out, get better.
Welcome back. Now, if you're just tuning in, this is Healthy Living. Tonight, we're talking about chemical allergies. Ready to answer some of your questions is ExpressCare's Dr. Jitka Lom. So, Doc, how can you avoid chemicals that you're allergic to?
Well, it's sometimes difficult, but when you learn which ones you're allergic to, then you can start reading labels really carefully. And you know, when you read a label of a product, a shampoo or a cream or even food, you've got all these long chemical names in there. And the amazing thing is some chemicals have more than one name, so it becomes very challenging. But we give you a printout, and you can also go online and research. And you do have to do research and be very careful when you find out that you're allergic to a chemical to try to avoid that in your life.
And I know we kind of touched on this before, but what kind of chemicals are present in our food that we should look out for?
Well, unfortunately, so many, especially in processed foods, because in order to keep a food sort of edible for a while, and so that it doesn't spoil, there are a lot of chemicals that are placed inside. And there's also flavorings that people can be allergic to. A common one is propylene glycol. Propylene glycol, or PG, is present in almost everything. It's present in soaps and shampoos and creams, and it's present in soda and ice cream and sort of cookies and baked goods that are packaged. And you can be allergic to this and not realize it and keep breaking out in rashes. There are other preservatives, fragrances, and flavorings. Again, balsam prue comes to mind. There are many that are present in foods. So if you're like, I want to avoid chemicals in my food, then buy fresh, whole foods and make sure you really wash your fruits and vegetables to get pesticides off of them too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So say you are allergic to one of these chemicals, do you have to consume a lot of that certain type of food with that chemical in it for you to have rashes?
That is such a great question. It really just depends. For some people, their threshold is really low. You know, we're talking about the nickel allergy, for example, in nuts. Some people will have, you know, a pretty strong reaction just after eating a small handful of nuts, and then they'll be reminded you can't do that if they know about it. Other people can tolerate, you know, quite a lot. And the thing is, you may be allergic to more than one thing, so it stacks. So you might be allergic to a little bit of nickel and a little bit of propylene glycol and a little bit of this, and pretty soon, you know, you're allergic to a lot of stuff and you keep breaking out. The other thing is that in your occupation you may be allergic to things. This is the really common one, is hand soap in people that work in, let's say, the restaurant industry. They're using a lot of really, really harsh chemicals in cleaning, also housekeepers and so on, hairdressers, people that work in construction with chemicals, or you know, cement is one that's really, really a very powerful allergen. So, you know, this is where it comes into the workers' comp area, because sometimes we discover, gosh, you know, the rash that you're having on your hands is actually from the chemicals that you're using at work, and you need to avoid them and have special protective gloves, which you can be allergic to, which is another thing we test for. What kind of rubbers are you allergic to, so that you can use special gloves and not latex, for example.
So you can consume the chemicals, but if you touch the chemicals, is that contact dermatitis?
Yes. So contact dermatitis means it's touching your skin. Allergic contact dermatitis means that you're breaking out. You can also have irritant contact dermatitis. For example, the tag on the back of your clothing, that thing rubbing on your neck, some people cannot tolerate that. They're going to get a really bad rash from just their tag off their clothing. They have to clip the tags off. That's not due to a chemical, that's due to irritation. And that can happen the same thing with you know, constantly dipping your hands in a harsh environment. That can happen too, that it's not actually the chemical, it's just that your hands are always wet in a harsh environment. So we can sort of try to flush these things out. They're all really treatable. It is possible to get well and not have to have these type of rashes, and I love to do it because it's detective work and figure out what people are allergic to.
Yeah. So what kind of doctor should a person see if they start seeing a rash? They think maybe it's a chemical allergy.
Well, you can self-treat at home first. You know, get away from all your fragrances and harsh soaps and chemicals. Here on island, Zest, Irish Spring, Gain, Surf, Ariel. These are all really strong detergents that people have to use at home, including Dawn detergent. These are really powerful and cause a lot of problems. So back off of those Moisturize your hands, because when you create hands and body, because when you have a good barrier, chemicals cannot get in. If your skin's dry and cracked, the chemicals will get in. So try to make a very good barrier by constantly moisturizing your body. But if you can't figure it out, then come see us either at ExpressCare, or you can see a dermatologist if they're available, and some testing can be done.
I've actually had contact dermatitis before, and I went to your clinic, and I think you gave me this kind of moisturizer lotion. It really helps. So
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we can treat it topically with steroid creams, and that will often help a mild one. But sometimes if they're very severe, especially if they're ingested, then we have to put people on steroids for about 3 weeks till they get better.
All right, thanks so much, Doc. For all that information, if you have any final comments, you can contact us at healthyliving@kuam.ca.